Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to one of my favorite segments on the channel that I realized I have not done in like 3 months. I realized that with award season and everything that had been going on, I hadn't done this segment on my channel for such a long time, and it's one of my favorite segments, the A24 archive. And this is the segment on my channel where I watch not one, not two, but every single film in A24's catalog from the start of their career to whenever I eventually get caught up. And I took a break for a while because I started watching all these award season movies, and honestly, I just kind of forgot about it. We're at a period in the year where some of the newer releases are slower. I've got more time to keep putting these ones out, and so I'm really excited to get back into them today. And I'm very excited about today's video because this is one of my favorite movies of all time, just period. If you were gonna make a top 50 list of my favorite movies of all time, this might even be in the top 10 ever made. And I'm very excited today to talk about Yorgos Lanthimos' The Lobster. The Lobster is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. In a dystopian near future, single people, according to the laws of the city, are taken to the hotel where they are obliged to find a romantic partner in 45 days or are transformed into beasts and sent off into the woods. My first exposure to Yorgos Lanthimos when I watched this movie very long time ago, and I sat down and I had no idea what to expect. And I remember after getting done with this hour and 50-minute runtime of a movie, I was completely enamored by the filmmaking, by the dialogue technique, by the cinematography, by everything about this. And I became infatuated with Yorgos Lanthimos' work, decided I wanted to watch everything that he'd ever made, and I have, and now I'm completely current on his filmography. He is one of my favorite directors of all time, and I look forward to everything that he puts out because he consistently makes the most unique, subversive, strange, thought-provoking films that you could ever watch. So as the description says, you're introduced at the beginning of the film to Colin Farrell's character, who his wife has decided to leave him. And so immediately on being left, a vehicle comes and picks you up and takes you to this hotel in the city where you give information about yourself, your sexual orientation, all of that, and you're taken into a room and you are told that you must find a partner in 45 days or you will be transformed into an animal of your choice and sent out into the wild. And so the entire film is Colin Farrell is trying to, at this hotel, find a significant other. He's trying his best, but the catch is, it's not finding a significant other in a way you just meet someone and fall in love. You have to have a characteristic that is exactly the same as another person. So for instance, he is short-sighted, so he's trying to find someone else with short-sightedness. You have a woman in the hotel who's constantly getting nosebleeds, so she's trying to find someone like that. There's a woman in the hotel who has beautiful hair. John C. Reilly's character has a speech impediment, and they're all trying to find people who have that same sort of character flaw, so to speak, in order to escape the hotel. Well, at the same time, they go out every single day and they hunt the single people in the woods with these tranquilizer darts. And if you catch the single people and bring them back to the hotel, you're given more days of stay at the hotel. And so we're also introduced to the world of the single people who live on their own, but there are very strict rules. They're ran by Léa Seydoux, and she tells them that they're not allowed to engage in sex, they're not allowed to be romantically involved, but they can do all of the things that you're not allowed to do at the hotel, which the hotel prevents you from masturbating, from doing all of these different things that you get severely punished for. And so there's all these really intelligent set of rules set up that are really thoughtful and interesting while also being disturbing in a way that makes you laugh, which is my favorite thing in the world. When a director can unsettle you so much that you can laugh at things that you are certain in your mind you should not be laughing at, but you do anyways, that is an impressive caliber of a director. And I love every single thing about this movie. I think the humor in this is pitch perfect. The dialogue is delivered so unnatural, and everyone talks in such a monotone type of voice unless they are very angered, and then they'll raise their voice. But for the most part, it's very monotone, it's very bleak, and I think that that makes it easier to sort of put yourself into that world. By taking away that like a person being really boisterous or something, you can kind of insert yourself into the shoes of multiple of these characters in the film. There's so many darkly comedic moments. There's one of the guys that Colin Farrell's character becomes really close friends with. He tells this really long monologue about how his mom was turned into a wolf and he visited her at the zoo every day by giving her raw meat. Well, he didn't know which one it was, so one day he wanted a hug from her, and so he jumped into the wolf pen and all of them started attacking him except for two of the wolves, so he assumed one of the two of the wolves was his mom. And just those kind of stories where they're so dark and sadistic, but they're hilarious. And Yorgos writes dialogue so brilliantly, even from his earliest films like Dogtooth and Alps. The dialogue is just so pitch perfect in a way that makes you think. And I think aside from this movie being very darkly comedic, it's very thought-provoking about relationships in our society, because you have the one extreme of the hotel which says you can't live on your own. They do these really crazy reenactments on stage of like, this is a woman by herself and she's immediately like assaulted, or like a man by himself, he's like at a table eating and he starts choking to death. And then you have the other extreme of the single people there who there's no way that you can be in a relationship. You can't be with people, you need to be self-reliant. And the movie kind of expresses our society's thoughts of the fact that there is no middle ground. You can't be happy in either single bucket that you put yourself in, because you have other people judging you because you're in one bucket or another. And I think that Yorgos really does a great job of painting the portrait of what it's like in the dating pool and what it's like to be perceived in a relationship or being single or any sort of status that you have in our society, and doing so in such a brilliant way. There's obviously extreme violence in this movie. Almost every Yorgos Lanthimos film includes some level of very extreme violence. The one guy decides that he wants to date one of the girls that has chronic nosebleeds, so he'll slam his face as hard as he can into a table or something to make his nose bleed. And those moments, they're just so jarring that they're hilarious. And there's really no one doing it like Yorgos right now. I feel like, and I don't know, people might disagree with me, but to me, he is the Stanley Kubrick of our generation. His cinematography is always breathtaking to look at. He gives a lot of headspace to the actors, which reminds me a lot of Kubrick. The shots are always framed so perfectly to where every shot feels so intentional. There's not filler sequences throughout his movies, and he's a director that continues to get more and more exciting throughout his career. I love every single movie that he's put out. I've never not enjoyed an experience through a Yorgos Lanthimos film, and this is probably, as of right now, with my A24 rewatches, my favorite of the catalog. This and The Witch are really close together as my favorite with where I'm at right now, but this probably takes it. I love Robert Eggers. I think I like The Lighthouse a little bit more than The Witch, but we'll see when I do my revisit. The Lobster is on a whole nother level of just incredible art house filmmaking, and I think everyone should see it if you're a film fan. So have you seen The Lobster? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I think this movie is one of the most brilliant movies ever made. It's funny, it's thought-provoking, it's interesting, it's everything you could want in a movie. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.